Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday Celebration of Spirit here at the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. We honor you wherever you are on your spiritual path. So please take this opportunity to turn off your cell phones, pagers, anything that connects you to the outside world electronically, and then greet your neighbor. So as of late, the men have been doing the welcome, have been coming up here with words of wisdom out of various and sundry learned books. And I'm going to give you a quote from a person that molded my early life, which is Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine. What Alfred said was, you can be on the right track, but still get hit by a train. So, should that occur to you, go see one of our beautiful practitioners back there, and they'll get you back on the right track. This morning's chant will teach it to you, and it's followed by our morning prayer by practitioner.
Let's all stand up here for a moment. We're going to sing together. Very simple chant. 3-part harmony. And the words are peace, peace, peace is now. Can you say that? Peace, peace, peace is now. But it's actually a lot slower and drawn out, kind of meditative. So it goes like this. We're going to all sing the melody together, and then we're going to go into 3-part harmony. So have fun. It goes like this. Peace. Going.
so we take this truth deep into the very heart of our hearts, acknowledging the peace that passes all understanding, and yet is understood in the depth of the infinite heart, right here, right now. As I speak this word of spiritual mind treatment, I affirm and know that there is one power, one presence, one infinite source, and it is peace. It is divine love that has no borders, no boundaries, no opposing power. There is only one. And this power flows through its creation to bring forth the beauty and the blessings of each and every one of the beloveds that it adores. And I speak this word in the first person, inviting each of us to claim it as our own. For I know I am the beloved of the divine, that God in me, through me, as me, performs its wonders, miracles, and blessings. And so I offer up any cares or concerns into this field of pure love and healing for the individual, for the collective, for the community, for the planet, knowing that love is the way, the truth, and the light. And so surrendering anything less than this, I rise up into this truth as its expression this day, knowing that each one of us is a perfect expression of the divine. I claim and accept healing, prosperity, divine expression, wholeness, love, peace, and joy. And in a state of expectancy, willingness, and divine gratitude, I give thanks for the gifts that flow in by means of this word I have now claimed. And I release it into its perfect ways and means through Spirit. So I let it be, and so it is. Amen. So blessings to you all. Reverend Karyl is in Seattle, and we emanate our peace and love to her as she is speaking at the Center for Spiritual Living in Seattle. And very soon I'll be introducing our guest speaker. For now, I'd like to introduce our guest musician, Emily. Emily Tesmer is a singer-songwriter from Lake Tahoe who teaches elementary school. And she must have the soul of a saint and patience of peace that passes understanding. And she's also a signed artist in the UK. She visits our center at least a couple of times a year, and so we claim her as kin. Welcome, Emily. Thank you.
So much.
Choose to see a timeless wonder inside the circle of a dream. A timeless wonder's burning, oh so deep inside of me. A reverent sound of fire will help us to believe. watching over me. Pray for the children like you never did before. And I know there's a treasure behind an emerald door. It's the timeless wonder that I choose to see. A timeless wonder inside the circle of a dream. A timeless wonder's burning, oh so deep inside of me. Reverence and fire will help us to believe. It's with a timeless wonder that I choose to see. A timeless wonder inside the circle of a dream. A timeless wonder's burning, oh so deep inside of me. Reverence and fire will help us to believe. So we trust in the river, we trust in the sea.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Emily. And we focus our gratitude today on our partnership with Temenos, our sister community in Ukraine, and Reverend Barbara, the community spiritual leader there. And anyone who has ever traveled there, supported the ministry in any way, Reverend Karyl's notes say that, for instance, Jane Roach always sends little gifts and blessings to keep nourishing our connection with that community. So anyone who's ever visited Ukraine, gone to the conference, supported the ministry there in any way, would you stand so we can acknowledge you? Ukraine? Yeah, many too. Yes. So it's my joy to share with you the events and opportunities in this community, and there are always many, and we can't cover them all in our morning announcements. So know that there are other avenues, your bulletin, the website, meetup, all kinds of ways to get connected. Women's Spirit is a phenomenal women's retreat that takes place each year in the fall in the Redwoods. It is so fabulous, and now is the time to sign up because women are so eager to get into the program that we sign up in the spring to plan the program for the fall. So that table is over there. You'll see the goddess holding space there, and Lori will support people who may have questions, and it's for women only, just so you know. We are offering wonderful spring classes. There are 3 coming online very shortly, and today I'd like Posey to tell us about the one that she is facilitating.
Good morning. If you have taken Foundations or Beyond Limits, you are eligible to take the Essential Ernest Holmes. Now, for anyone here who doesn't know, he was the founder of this denomination, and his writings in this class span his entire career. So we'll be delving deeply into the principles and the wonderful teachings of this unique individual. However, what this class is really about is building deep connections, having deep, rich conversations about how to take those principles and concepts and have them have a practical, everyday experience in our own lives. Embody them so that we can truly change our thinking, change our lives. And so my intention is always to build connections heart to heart, to have deep conversations, and to have fun. So if that appeals in any way, please, please, please come sign up after church. We have a wonderful time, and there are 3 people over here who have taken the class. So if you have any questions, you can ask them. Oh, no, actually, Pat and Leslie and Paula. So thank you.
Thank you, Posey. Posey is a magnificent teacher. The class that she is teaching does have a prerequisite. If you've taken the foundational class, you are eligible to take this class. There are 2 others that will be coming along soon that have no prerequisites, one which I am actually creating for the first time and facilitating with our community, called Speak Your Word, Create Your World. That's a 4-week class in June. And Reverend Karyl will be teaching a class on transmuting negative emotion in July. So all of the information about our classes is on our education table. I invite you to partake after service. Check it out. Now I'd like to call Ellie up. You're going to stand? Okay, project. Thank you, Ellie. And one more thing to share with you, the value of community is priceless. And what we do here on Sunday service, we get inspired, and then we take classes and we connect with one another. We learn more about how we're doing on the spiritual path, support each other in many ways. So we have an opportunity for that after Sunday service. Reverend Karyl has it in the bulletin down on the lower right-hand corner. Ask 3 people where they were born. That's pretty simple. And let's see what we find out. And if you notice some fun connections, feel free to let Reverend Karyl know about it. And she'll weave that in some wonderful way in the future. We know how she does that. And across the way, there's a little cafe you might have noticed that got built recently. I know that was a direct connection with our visioning and opportunity for a place to connect after service. So if you'd like to have coffee, have lunch, talk with your community members, just stroll on over there and find one another and connect. Sound good? Okay. Read your bulletin for more information. And now I want to just take a nice, deep, collective breath and welcome those of you who may be here for the first time, that to know that this community sees your magnificence, welcomes your light and your love, and there is so much here to feast upon each week. And we trust that you've found your way home. We welcome you. Thank you. Our theme this year is the new world in the ancient past. And you'll see over here a beautiful Celtic cross that is depicting the seasons of the year. And each week we tune into a specific word. And each month we have a theme. So this month our theme is spontaneity, and how appropriate for spring. And our word today is flow. So you might just notice where you feel in flow, how you feel called into greater spontaneity. And we're so grateful for the beautiful altar created by Sandra Aguebere that represents flow. There's a crystal bowl in the middle with water, the flow of light, the flow of nature through the beauty of the flowers. So thank you very much, Sandra. And now it's my pleasure to call to the podium our guest speaker. And she is so much more than a guest speaker. She is a family member, a beloved treasure in our international community. She's bold, she is brave, she is always on the leading edge of something new. I asked her this morning, what would you like me to say specifically about you? And she said, tell them I'm in the best place in my life. I'm on the edge of something entirely new. And that didn't surprise me at all. She is the founding minister of the Ukraine ministry in Ukraine, in Cherkasy. And she has so many practitioners, teachers, students that are blossoming in the rich field of her love. And so we welcome her to the stage with our love. Thank you, Reverend Barbara.
Doesn't that feel good? Woo. How many people in this room have ever made a contribution at the part of the service when the baskets are being passed to receive the good that you're sharing? Just, would you show me? Uh-huh. So when Bodie and Rick stood when it was asked how many people have supported the Ukraine, I want to remind you that you all have. Every one of you has. Because this community has been the branch on which I lifted off from, and the tree that I come back to. This community has supported us constantly. So you are part of something amazing. How many of you would, first of all, how many of you feel sometimes like, you know, what can I do? I'm just one person. How many of you feel like you're not playing as big as you really feel in your heart that you are? Come on, tell the truth. Okay. Well, let me just tell you that no matter what your everyday experience is, you truly are contributing to something absolutely amazing. Without you, honestly, Temenos Ukraine would not happen. That you are part of creating an amazing transformation in a country with 47 million people. And the square root of that is something like 5,600 or something like that. It's a small number. And the square root of any number is what can transform the whole. And so that's a small number for us, 5,600. We already are touching a third of that. That means you are doing it. You are doing that. So I invite you never to feel small again. Never. Because you're not. And every thought you have, and every time you smile, and every time you say yes to some little piece of life that's calling you forward, you are being big. You are saying yes to the impulse of life within you. So never tell yourself you're not enough. Never tell yourself. Never apologize for your passion. That occurred to me this morning when I was talking to someone who we know and love here, Bob Plath. And Bob has asked me so many times to bring Forgiveness Project to Ukraine. And I'm not there in August, and I never have done it the way that we do it here, never. And when Bob talks to me, he gets disappointed that I'm not jumping forward with him to do it. But in fact, what I've never taken the time to really tell him is that his work has impacted us because we teach forgiveness all the time in a passionate way because of the work that you do here in this community inspired by this man. So never apologize for your passion. Never apologize for asking somebody to be part of it. Never. Because the world needs it. Always. Yeah, no, honestly. There is so much more going on than we ever know at any time. Honest to goodness, when we think we have it figured out, believe me, we don't. There is so much more. So I want to get the plugs out of the way. Here's our flyer about our conference this year. It will be down here. I have several of them. I forgot to find a table for them. But it'll be down here afterwards in sufficient quantity so that if you feel called to come and see what you've been contributing to for the past 10 years, we've been there 12 years. Can you imagine? Do you remember I stood here 12 years ago on my way to the airport? And it hasn't wiped me out. All of those fears I had that I would lose it and I couldn't stay, and all the times that I wanted to run away, and all the times I went, I don't know how to do this, and all the times there wasn't enough money to pay the bills, or I didn't have enough understanding, all those times, what got me through? This teaching. This teaching got me through. Practicing these principles got me through. Telling myself the truth about who I really am got me through. And not being afraid to live my dream got me through. That's what got me through. I am not only not afraid to live my dream, I am in a new trajectory that's bigger than anything I might ever have imagined. You know, some people think my life is pretty big right now. I think it's pretty big right now. And I just wonder, what would it be like? What could it be like? But if I stopped to need to know what it was going to be like before I said yes, what would I be doing? I'd be sitting at home. You know, I would be making a to-do list, or I would be doing a pro and con, to go, to not go, to step forward, to not step forward. Have you ever done that? I'd be asking everybody I know, what do you think I should do? I'd be reading books, I'd be pulling cards, I'd be throwing stones, I'd be tossing coins, I'd be drawing, I'd be doing mandalas, I'd be doing all the things which each in themselves is a wonderful thing to do. But it's not nearly as wonderful as learning to trust yourself. And that's what this experience has taught me, or I haven't quite learned, because I do have my moments, I assure you. I have almost quit so many times. I have tried to run away so many times. I have thrown my hands up in despair so many times, not even in the too distant past. There's 1,000 things I want to share with you today. 1,000. I have 20 minutes to share the essence of what it means to be living your dreams and dreaming bigger. Now, the theme is spontaneity this month, and the day's word is flow, and the topic is, on your mark, get set, and go with the flow. So that's, you know, what we're supposed to be talking about. And I'm sure it's all going to get there somehow. But I want to teach you something right now. I want to teach you this motion. So just do it. Put your hand out in front of you and just do that. And just close your eyes and feel that your hand knows how to do that. You don't even have to direct it. It just like does it. You know? That's flow. That's the feeling of flow. That's the symbol of flow. That is the movement that is constantly ebbing and flowing. The tide comes in and the tide goes out. And here we are, we're always at the center of it, and it's always moving, and it's always flowing, and that's the truth. That's the truth. So if you remember nothing more from today, remember that when you're stuck or when you're scared, put your hand out in front of you and just do this, because it will remind you who you are. You're at the epicenter of that. You're at the place where those things intersect. That's you. That is you. That is the symbol for infinity also. That is you at the center of that. You are the place that must receive and must give back. You. And without it, it's like that. Or have you ever been in that place? I I felt in that place yesterday when somebody backed up into my car. I could do nothing. There I was, parked with the car behind me, and the guy in front of me decided not to pull into traffic, but instead to pull into me. My granddaughter, she isn't a student of life the way we are here. She just is like, ah, and I go, honey, it's okay. Nobody's hurt. It's only a fender. She said, oh, okay. She hasn't learned all those stories about $500 deductible. How much time am I going to be without my car? All those things that we might tell herself, right? She hasn't learned them, praise God. And I'm learning to forget them, so, you know, we did pretty well. So come to the conference. Check out our website. Be part of it in an even more active way because it is already part of you. We are inexplicably intertwined and forever will be. As I was driving down here yesterday, I drove from Eureka with my fender flopping in the breeze. I was listening to the talk that happened when David Alt was here. And it started with the honoring of Selma. And I just felt so blessed to listen to that service. Because there was so much preciousness in it, wasn't there? It was so precious. And it was so powerful. And I was listening to it thanks to Jane Roach because she sends them to me every month. She sends me every talk. No matter where I live, she finds me. Now, she's been doing that for years. It's not a huge, big deal, you know. Her name isn't on the marquee. Thanks to Jane Roach for sending discs to Ukraine. But everybody in Ukraine who speaks English knows that because they listen, because she does it. It's just a little thing. And I did it yesterday because she does it. And so I knew about Selma yesterday and about this change that she's going through. And it inspired me to say, wait, before she's totally given it up, I wonder if she'll do a training for our practitioners. And I thought, well, she just gave it up. Maybe she doesn't want to be roped in again. And I went, well, what the heck? You know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I ought to ask her. And so this morning, as I came in late, I used to would have called it late. I came in at the perfect time, totally inspired and not feeling guilty. That was fabulous. And everybody who knows me greeted me and went, wow, I'm so glad to see you. I said, me too, isn't it great? And I walked into the bathroom, and who's in the bathroom? Just guess. Selma. Yeah, exactly. And I had time to say to her, I had this idea yesterday. Are you interested? She said, yeah. And then somebody else walked in who's on the same team and said, me too. And that's how life happens when you're doing this. When you're just not resisting the things that don't work, like the broken fender. Why spend time worrying? Why spend time playing small if you don't need to? Why? Well, I know why I haven't. I mean, I play small, just like many of us. Because it's misplaced fear, that's why. Because I think I can't do it, or I think it's big enough. Why, Barbara? Do you need to do more, for goodness sakes? Just settle for that. It's fine, just as it is. Jo knows. She's gone for it. You know, I remember when you were going off to Vancouver to train the skaters for the Olympics. You know, I mean, she wasn't sitting here waiting for skaters to call her and say, hey, I hear you're a great coach. Would you come? No, she went there and she rented an apartment and she put her name out there. That's doing this. And so I want you to just take 30 seconds right now and ask yourself, if I were playing big right now, what would I be doing? Just take 30 seconds and don't doubt anything that comes in. Just open the gate and let Spirit tell you what you already know. Say, thank you, life. Now turn to your neighbor and tell them. Right now, turn to your neighbor and tell them, if I were playing big right now, this is what I'd be doing. Come on. Turn to your neighbor. Tell them. Be bold. tap her on the shoulder. Say, listen to me too. Tap her. Tap her. Yep. You want to listen to her too. Woo! See, nobody wants to stop once you get started. Okay. Aha, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Everything you have shared now is in divine circulation. Everything you have shared is in divine circulation. Do not take it back with your yes buts or oh wells. Do not. Do not. When you start to say yes but or oh well, get your hand out there. Just get your hand out there and say, oh, thank you for reminding me. Okay, have you got it? That's all you need to remember from today. This is it. It's in your hands. Have you heard that before? It's in your hands. Well, of course it is. Of course it is. David Alt touched on several things that I wanted to share with you today, so I want to just tell you up front what they are in case I don't get to them. He said, why play small? He said, you know, playing big is great. In fact, he said that he wanted, I forget exactly how it went, but he said, the next time I say that, or somebody asked him, would you do that? He said, but of course. Do you remember that? He said, but of course. But of course. Well, here's what it sounds like in other languages. Mais oui, certainement. Mais oui, certainement. That's French. Mais oui, yes, but yes, of course. Here's what it sounds like in Russian. In the slang, it's no da. That means no doubt, really, but it's like no da, like, come on, there's no question there. And the other is da, konishna. Are you going to do it? Da, konishna. Do you see that the energy is the same in all those languages? Yes, of course. Da, konishna, may we? It's an energetic response to life. It's in this movement. This doesn't say, no, I've got to sit and think about it for a long time. Maybe tomorrow I'll be ready. It doesn't say that. When life calls on you, do not get caught in your thinker. Do not get caught in the pattern that says you can't. Acknowledge it if that's what comes up and say, yes, I know, honey, you can just wait over here. I'm going to do some movement over here. And that movement will move you through that, what I call the knot hole. N-O-T-W-H-O-L-E. So he said, how do you play big? So you have some examples right now, don't you, of how you could play big. Do you remember them, what you just shared? Say them again to yourself or say them out loud. Quiet, come on. Just all of you, just say them. How do you play big? Come on, we want to reinforce that thought. I am a traveling ambassador for world peace. When I started Science of Mind, the very first thing that I did 20-something years ago was attend a workshop called On Course. Anybody ever take On Course? Anybody been here long enough for that? Yep. Well, you know, at the end of On Course, it's like a 2.5-day event. And at the end, after all these heart-opening and forgiveness and breakthrough moments, you stand in a circle and you speak your vision for your life. And everybody listens. There were 80 people in my On Course. I thought, geez, we're going to be standing here for a long time. And then I really got how long we were going to stand there when I couldn't stop crying for 10 minutes before I could speak my vision. I couldn't say it. It was too big for me. I couldn't own it. It was too unlike my reality with the broken car and the kids needing the dentist and the shoes with holes in them and not knowing what to do and working 3 jobs and all of those things that I was doing then. I couldn't hold it. But guess what happened? Those people all waited for me to talk. They stood there. Their legs were probably shaking like mine were. I mean, it was like being in an Orthodox church service. You know, you don't sit down in an Orthodox church service. You stand up for hours. No wonder those little grannies are so strong and tough in Ukraine. Jeez. So they're standing there in this circle, and I am sobbing. I'm not just like, I am sobbing. And at the end of it, when I finally was able to speak, I said, I am part of the new United Nations. Well, now I am. Now I am. And unbeknownst to me, it's just gotten bigger. I mean, I didn't notice it creeping up on me. But it's just shifted. And how has it shifted? It shifted because I have said to God, use me. I am willing to live my life on purpose. Show me the way. Now, I really thought what that meant was that God was going to come and show me how to, be a better spiritual leader, or how to train them to do strategic planning. Would they please understand it? Or could we just have a calendar? Show me how to work with them. No, that was just millage, just sand, nothing, pennies. So God has shown up. It looked first like a crisis. God sometimes shows up looking like a crisis. You ever had that happen? Oh. That's right. That's the through the knothole experience. That's on the other side. That's on this side, And so it showed up with me not being able to go back to Ukraine and live there the way I used to live there. It showed up by the American government saying, we're going to take your green card because you're not there. It showed up by just lots of things that said, you got to do this different, you got to do this different. And what that really was, at first I kind of railed against it, and it wasn't fair, and I did the usual human thing, but ultimately I got that Spirit is trying to loosen the moorings in my life. It's trying to get me flexible so that I will be ready, so that my ship is not tied down in dry dock any longer, attached to this picture of what I thought my life was about. I thought my life was about transforming this country. Well, it was really about transforming myself, of course, and the country was in service, and it's one of these things. They're in service to me, I'm in service to them, it's just flowing. And when does it stop? It stops when I get attached. It stops when I say it has to look like this. Spirit was loosening up, taking my fingers off of it. And so, 3 years ago, I said, there's going to come a time when I'm not going to manage this anymore. You are. Oh, no, But now they are. They are. They're managing it now. I don't think they'll ever be managing it the way I would like them to be managing it. Maybe they will. But, they're Ukrainians. They're going to manage it the way they can. And I will give them, and have given them, my very best. But the very best right now is to let go. That's my very best. To let go and to trust. What does that mean for me? I'm going to get to be a spiritual leader. I'm going to get to do what I am born to do at this stage in my life. Find how to be the inspiration, the support, not the manager, not the one to teach them how to do better SWOTs, how to do better action plans, how to do better calendars, but actually how to trust life. I'm going to do that by showing, by modeling it, by having the chutzpah to stand in there. And I use the word chutzpah, I didn't consciously, but God did, to remind me to tell you this story in my last 3 minutes. Honestly, I would love to sit for a day and share with you what I'm learning right now, because it is totally profound. The idea today was to explore the relationship between self-determination and going in the flow, with the flow. From the place of this is what I want and this is what I'm going to get, second kingdom consciousness in our way of studying, to total surrender and let God just, guide the flow. So I'm doing that. I've let go, and I'm letting God guide the flow. Oh, I take it back every once in a while. You know, the thing is, I can easily trick myself into thinking that I'm taking it back is really what God wants, and that's dangerous. So, you know, you have to be mindful that, you know, you're really, truly letting go. So I am learning to trust life. So here's, actually, I need to give you these points from David Ault, just so you know what really is going on today. Why play small? How to play big, so you have your examples. What keeps you playing small? Having little ideas and feeding them. You don't want to feed those little ideas anymore. Whenever you get one, get your hand going. Learn to trust life. Where's your mental equivalent for the big ideas you want in your life? If you don't have them, look at somebody who does. And remember that God's given you plenty. Life has given you plenty big ideas. I've had so many big ideas. I'm standing in Samantha's kitchen this morning, sharing with them a story about how 25 years ago, I was the person with my Russian partner who brought the Russian fighter planes into American airspace for the first time in history so they could fly at the air show in Portland, Oregon. John said, how is that? I never heard that story. I said, I don't know. It was an awfully big piece of work. It cost me a lot of money. And I forgot. But today, it reminded me of a mental equivalent of thinking big. I never dreamed of saying no. It was such an exciting idea. I just went for it. And what happened was, it was fabulous. And then the cosmonaut who was flying one of them stayed in my home for a week in his beautiful blue costume and his blue eyes. And oh my gosh, it was so exciting. And you know, I mean, anything is possible. Anything is possible if you just say yes. Swear to God. So we all have mental equivalents that we've forgotten about. I'd forgotten about that one. I had planted a seed. My first affirmation was peace. This prayer song that Bodhi wrote some years ago, and I just discovered a month and a half ago when I was here, is probably the most profound feeling that a song has ever given me about the experience of peace. So I have 4 words: peace, purpose, possibility, and plenty. Those are the 4 words that rule my life: peace, purpose, possibility, and plenty. Okay, so to finish, you got to trust life. You have to know how to make the right decisions. They don't come through to-do lists or pros and cons. You've got to find a way to your personal commitments. So I'm only on the first paragraph of 6 pages, so let me just finish. Let me just finish by telling you an amazing story. I've got my, I need to get back to Ukraine. I want to get back to Ukraine. And somebody gave me 200,000 miles and said, do whatever you can with that to get there and come back. Wow. So I get it all booked, and then the agent says, well, by the way, that'll cost you $987 in airport fees. I said, what? Oh, well, that's still cheaper than buying a ticket. Okay. And I sat with that, and I went, there has to be a better way. Oh, and I had to stay in London overnight, coming and going. So there's another $300 or $400. So there's, $1,500, and I'm going, this isn't saving me any money. I could do it. Of course, it's business class, so it is nice. It's tempting. But it still wasn't what I really wanted. What I wanted was an easy trip. What I wanted was a trip that totally supported me. And I believed it was possible, so I called the agent back and I said, this doesn't really work for me. Is there anything else? And he said, well, let me look. And he looked and looked. He said, well, actually, there isn't really. The only option is probably one you wouldn't want to go. An hour before, I was talking to Reverend Kathy Hearn, doing a prac session. She was my practitioner. And I was talking about one of our practitioners, one of our 24 practitioners, who now lives in Israel, who I'm in a conversation with about starting a study group in Israel. About the woman sitting with me on the plane in October when I came back, who was the teacher of a girls' Jewish high school, who we spoke about Judaism and science of mind all the way across the Atlantic. And the end of it was, you know what we need in Israel? We need to get the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims together and teach them visioning. Nastia's over there. I'm telling Kathy, I'm on the phone with the travel agent, and the travel agent says, can you guess You get it, right? So the travel agent says, well, you know, there's only one way to get you back, but you probably won't like it. It's through Tel Aviv. I said, oh, Tel Aviv? I said, tell me about that. And he said, well, you know, it's Tel Aviv. I said, yeah, tell me more. And so he tells me, I said, could I stay there for a few days? He said, well, sure, why not? I called Nastya. I said, would you guide me over there? Please come, let me take care of you. You've taken care of me for so many years. Come. My people are ready to talk to you. And guess what? It cost $212. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. So let's take a moment to anchor that in prayer. I have this little notebook somebody gave me. It's called Remember, Ideas Become Things. You know, it's just good to give yourself the tools of the trade of trust. So, do you feel how much Spirit is calling us into a deeper experience of ourselves? No matter where each of us is living, there is more. There is plenty for us. There is plenty. The only thing is we got to be in the flow. And so as we bring into our mind that bigness that is calling us to be a more loving parent, or to take your grandchildren for a trip, or to weed your garden and have your space beautiful, or to go back to college, or whatever it is. Spirit wants that. That is Spirit expressing and expanding, because that is its nature. And so here you are at the epicenter of this nature of expansion. And so just release anything that keeps your gate closed. Right now, release the doubt, release the worry, release the yes buts, and open your gate. Put those things down. If they're really important, you can get them next time around. Just put them down and say, okay, God, they're gone. My hands are open. Use me. Show me. What must I embrace? And draw into yourself. Trust. There is something magnificent seeking to happen through me. It is my life. It's all possible. I have a purpose. Peace lives within me, and peace is the foundation of the fertile reality of my mind. There is more possibilities than I could count. And there is plenty more where that came from. So I know that I and each of us is in this perfect flow of life. We are divinely guided. There is nothing designed to stop us, nothing. Everything is designed to keep our gate open and this life flowing through us. And we are right here, right now, in the most powerful moment of our life, because we are saying yes at a higher level than ever before. Yes. 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 I accept it. I give thanks for it. Yes. I claim it. I recognize it. I own it. It is true. It is mine. It is ours. It is God's. It is good. It is great. It is all that there is. And so I say yes to that. Praise God. Thank you, life. And so it is. Amen. Thank you. Yay! Woo!
Спасибо.
my shadow below me, out of the corner of my eye. The night begins to behold me in the glow of the dreamlight. Do you hear my prayer? Does it go somewhere? And all the waves we've spun are starting to come. And if the cradle should fall, well, the stars won't move at all. And if you don't understand, well, you're part of a bigger plan. And something in me was moving, oh, with the rhythm of the sky. And all the creatures below me, they could hear me when I cried. And they hear my prayer, and it goes somewhere. And all the waves we've spun are starting to come. And something in me was moving, oh, with the rhythm of the sky. And all the creatures below me, they could hear me when I cried. And they hear my prayer, and it goes somewhere. And all the waves we've spun are starting to come undone. And they hear my prayer, and it goes somewhere. And all the waves we've spun are starting to come undone.
Emily Tesmer.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you guys. I love you. I love you. Thank you.
Her CDs are fabulous. Some of my favorite road music.
Oh, and I do have some CDs. Just to explain one thing, they say it says Arend Blue on it, and it's my alter ego. It's a sacred chanting record that I have for sale over there. My focus live lately has been in the sacred chanting. So please feel free to grab a CD. They're right over there on that table. And thank you so much for having me. I just wanted to explain that so when people go over there, they're not like, what's that? So.
Thank you, Emily, and thank you,
you.
Bodie, our beautiful musician team today.
I love Bodie. Bodie's awesome. Yay!
Yes. Wonderful. So now is the time for our conscious contribution. I invite the ushers to come forward. And as we prepare to receive the gifts, I invite each one of us to infuse our gift with love, with some special quality that you experience in this community, and some quality that was called forth in the talk and the vision that you tapped into this morning, knowing that it all comes from Source, flows through us, and is an unlimited supply. Would the ushers now receive the gifts?
guide my day, open my heart to live your way. Teach me to hear your voice and open my mind to the freedom of choice. Spirit, guide my day, open my heart, wave those hands to live your way. Teach me to hear your voice and open my mind to the freedom of choice. Spirit, guide my day and open my heart to live your way. And teach me to hear your voice and open my mind to the freedom of choice. Sing it one last time, everybody. Spirit, 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 guide my day and open my heart to live your way. Teach me to hear your voice, my voice, your voice, every open my mind to the freedom of choice. Everybody singing, Spirit. Yeah.
So we bless these gifts, knowing that the source is infinite, that we are its conduit, that this money, the substance of spirit, is blessed with our love, with our vision, and it empowers many activities in the human world, including the expansion of the ministry in Ukraine. We give thanks for this. Bless it and let it be. So it is. And so now I ask the practitioners to come forward and invite anyone who may have something heavy on the heart, or maybe something in that vision that got activated has got you quaking in your boots. Come meet with one of our practitioners to get an affirmative prayer, a spiritual mind treatment to shift past those yeah buts into the realm of possibility. And the rest of the practitioners enfold the room with your love as we bring it on home with our closing prayer. Flow. It is the nature of life. Flow from the eternal source that is everywhere present, flowing into expression and creation by means of each and every one of us. I know that we have been expanded this day into a higher calibration, a higher frequency, a more magnificent vision and mental equivalent of who we are and what we are here to do. And I know that we are empowered in this vision with the courage, the willingness, the brilliance of spirit that is saying yes within. And I know as well that each and every one of us is a blessing to the world. Even in the humble acts of love and kindness, or the magnificent acts of bringing something entirely new into expression, we are fully supported in love, living in love, one heart, one thought at a time. For this I give thanks, and let it be, and so it is. Amen. Join us in the affirmation and the closing song. The affirmation you can repeat after me. I live in peace. I live in the flow of life. I trust the tide that comes in and goes out. Knowing all is in divine order. Yes, thank you, life. So come back next week, hear Reverend Karyl with stories of Seattle, and don't forget to ask 3 people where they were born and join us for coffee across the way. Now for the closing song. Thank you.
Choose federally. Every moment love wakes up and peace is every step. Peace is every step. Peace is every step.
Wasuzocha chokanzala Onolya kuchichoka mama Onolya kuchichoka nzala